Thank you. Hi, we are Finance for the Future, a corporation made up of over 20 high school and college students. Do you know how much return you get on just $1 of investment into youth financial education? Please take the time to put your answer in the chat below. Actually, just $1 invested into youth financial education leads to a return of over $36. This means that by funding a financial literacy course for one semester at a cost of $10,000 for a class of 24 students, you can get a return on your investment of $3,000 per student per year. This leads to a return on investment of over $360,000 for that one class over the next 30 years when accounting for inflation. Our sponsor, Harbor One Bank, is a local business that works with both schools and teachers in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Due to COVID-19, our partner, Harbor One, can no longer go into the classroom to teach their financial literacy curriculum to middle school students in person. In order to combat that issue, Harbor One Bank was looking for a virtual, gamified program that aligns with Rhode Island financial literacy standards and also allows them to enter the virtual classroom and continue to introduce middle school students to the financial literacy curriculum that could change their lives.
Before COVID-19, Harbor One visited schools and taught students financial literacy. COVID-19 has made Harbor One unable to go to schools. Harbor One usually delivers 100 programs to 30 different schools a year, but due to COVID-19, as of August 2020, they have only been able to deliver 35 programs to 14 schools. Financial literacy is a topic that is not generally taught in middle schools, and Harbor One's goal is to broaden their reach to all Rhode Island and Massachusetts students. Our solution will help Harbor One expand their reach, and creating a financial literacy game makes learning about financial literacy easier and more convenient. There is a lack of financial education in the state of Rhode Island. Only 1/3 of Rhode Island high school seniors receive personal finance instructions in school. Not only does Rhode Island schools lack financial literacy, but all of the schools in the United States as well. Only 36 states guarantee access to personal finance education in schools. And in Rhode Island, only 10% of schools mandate financial literacy courses. Finance is a tool that the youth needs for their future. Our solution will help middle school students access a fun and interactive way to learn financial literacy.
Young adults spend about 10,000 hours gaming by the age of 21, which is about the amount of time spent in school from 5th grade to their 12th grade graduation. 97% of teen boys and 83% of teen girls play video games, which shows that this is a large market. 91% of PrepareRI interns surveyed wish they were taught more financial literacy. That shows that seniors in high school and freshmen in college believe that they have not been adequately prepared in financial literacy by their schools. This shows that if we can create a game that is both educational and interactive, we can reach a large amount of people.
Our solution is a role-playing game called The City of Stolen Fortune that teaches important financial concepts while still being intriguing. The concepts taught are career and job opportunities, introduction to taxes, learning to save and invest, budgeting and smart spending, insurance and earning wage, and identity theft and using credit, which are the standards set forth by the Rhode Island Department of Education. The City of Stolen Fortune had to be engaging enough to appeal to middle school students while still meeting these standards. Maintaining this balance meant that we needed a program that would allow us to do exactly what we wanted with it. We decided to create the game in RPG Maker MV. RPG Maker MV is both simple to program and flexible in adding new material into the game. In addition to the game, we have other resources for students, teachers, and parents on our websites, www.financeforthefutureri.org, alongside a blog that teaches more financial literacy basics.
Whether you're a student, parent, and/or teacher, our website has a place for you. On our website, you can be sure to find the playable version of our game, as well as blogs that depict behind-the-scenes glimpses from each department and provide helpful financial literacy tips. In addition, we also provide educators with the ultimate resource known as our curriculum guide. Our curriculum guide makes sure to highlight the descriptions of each level, as well as benchmarks students will make by the end of the chapter. But as a corporation, we recognize that growth is essential for our success. And by doing 3 specific things, we were able to become an unstoppable team. The first one being was our ability to minimize spending with the use of in-house programmers and the development of our own original music. In addition, we also had to effectively progress and show sufficient growth by implementing everyone's voice and making sure that every contribution played a part. These mentalities maintained a sense of unity and teamwork not only throughout the internship, but within our own corporation. And lastly, we had to cater to our target audience with constant lines of communication, either in the form of emails and/or surveys through which we collected critical data and feedback from stakeholders. that would later play an essential role in the development of our game. When these three factors joined forces, they made us an unstoppable team.
While creating and testing our prototype, we made surveys for teachers, parents, and students to receive feedback about improving our game for classrooms. We also met with some of our employer sponsors, coaches, and teachers to receive some critical feedback on their thoughts and concerns. Based on the feedback, we made changes to our game. One concern was if the game is engaging enough for both elementary and middle school students. We realized that our plot, curriculum, and game format would be better suited for middle schoolers. We also revised the opening scene, which showed characters panicking over their stolen money. Our employer sponsors were concerned because the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insures banks, keeping deposits safe. To clear this confusion, we added a bank teller to explain that the money is safe and to tax the player with reassuring everyone in the city. An unexpected challenge faced throughout the making of the game was sometimes losing data when transferring the game to a different desktop. This was a challenge because it required programmers to redo some missing components from the game.
Now, moving into the actual game itself, introducing the City of Stolen Fortune. At the beginning of City of Stolen Fortune, the controls for the game will pop up on the screen. Next, the player will be able to select from our diverse preset characters, representing the diversity of Rhode Island. After naming their character, a cutscene plays explaining the backstory of the city. A greedy dragon appears who is jealous of the city, so he destroys it. Afterwards, the character is greeted by a banker and an insurance man who tells the player their quest. In this first level, the quest is to navigate the city, reassuring the citizens while also finding out vital information about their careers, which is the first Rhode Island financial literacy standard. We have three main guidance systems in the game: an objectives list, which shows the player what they need to accomplish, a helpful old man character, who can lead the players to different people that they need to visit, and a mini-map, which can show where the player is on a map with a red dot. After finding information about each career, the player meets the wizard, who waits with a quiz about what the player has learned throughout the level. If the player passes the quiz, they are congratulated and can move on to the next level. However, if the player fails, they are encouraged to relearn the careers and get zapped back to their home.
We know that we're not the only business that's offering online financial education. Our biggest competitor, EverFi, is an online education organization that uses video games to teach students about topics like college preparation, mental health, and most importantly, financial literacy. Like us, EverFi uses games to teach students about financial literacy. In addition, like us, EverFi also wants to be as accessible as possible, as their games are free for teachers and school districts. The most important difference between us and EverFi is that EverFi's games are less cohesive than ours. In EverFi's games, events related to financial literacy are not connected, making it more difficult for students to connect with different financial literacy topics. In our game, we combine the lessons and design the plot so that students would see the connections between different financial literacy topics.
Since we have not yet completed our game, Harbor One Bank was actually potentially interested in continuing it. However, in order to do so, there are some items that we need to provide as well as further discuss. The first of these are the chapter outlines, which include the lessons and the dialogue for the rest of the game. Furthermore, Harbor One Bank also expressed interest in continuing our blog as well as receiving feedback from our surveys, so that information will be provided as well. Finally, a financial cost outline will be provided by our business and finance team, which will highlight all potential and definite future costs in order to determine the feasibility of some of them, as well as a proposal for our corporation to continue working on the game. Even with these features, there are some future features that we plan to include in the game. These include improvements to the curriculum guide, a translation of the game, at first just to Spanish, but potentially to other languages that are common in Rhode Island, as well as a registration process so that Harbor One Bank will be able to provide the program to only the necessary schools. We also hope to make it into an app in order to have the most accessibility to every student in Rhode Island. Along with these plans, there are some unknowns for the future, as well as what will happen with our website and our social media, which we use to advertise our own corporation as well as the game. Along with this, there is a potential to add more information to add in either previous levels or to add completely new levels, allowing the game to be dynamic and easily change as it needs to. Our solution for Harbor One Bank will teach our future the financial knowledge that they need to allow them to thrive in a modern economy. Now, are you ready to invest in the future?